What do I want to eat? How's it going? Hey. Now I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded my last video, so I can't really come to you and say, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Deuce review or game review, whatever. Yeah, it's not how it works. I just been really busy these past couple weeks with, schoolwork, work, and, a couple personal projects that I've been taking part in. And, it really just been eating up my time. But I just want to say I'm back, and, I'm sorry for neglecting this channel. Like a parent went out to get milk for his kid and never came back. So what makes this game unique is pretty much how it's presented, with its storybook art style and hand-drawn characters and environments. This alone gives the game a very natural, organic feel to it, especially when you compare it to a lot of games in today's age, which are mainly 3D and 2.5D. Now, that's not to say that 3D games are just nothing but shallow. No, far from it. But playing this game, it really felt like someone was reading me a story. And really, as someone who enjoys books, this is something that I can really appreciate. And the narration told by Doug Cockle, the voice behind Geralt of Rivia, it makes it all the more engaging. And as I play, I like to imagine Geralt reading a bedtime story to a young Ciri.
King Rat-tastic gazed down upon his withered claws, barely able to hold the crown. He had little hope wielding a sword. So it was decided, the crown should pass to Whiskers New. Arise, young prince, for the kingdom needs a hero. And so, your tale begins.
So the combat system is pretty straightforward and easy to understand. You attack, dodge, and parry at certain times to overcome your enemies. You see, the combat isn't fast and frantic, but rather slow and methodical. The game really encourages you to learn your enemy's attack patterns accordingly. When to dodge a heavy hitter, when to parry an attack you can't avoid, and wait for an opening to cut them down. Now, I know I'm not the only one to say this, but the combat is a lot like Dark Souls, but thankfully not as punishing. The enemies in this game hit hard like a truck and can take a major beating, but they do give indications of what they'll do. A red mark, for example, indicates a heavy attack that you can't block, so you have to dodge out of the way. And a yellow mark means it's a parry attack that you can't dodge. So this is basically a reflex-based combat style, so it's up to you of whether you die or live. So even though I love Doug Cockle's voice acting, I have to admit that his constant narration kinda takes away from potential character interaction. And what I mean by this is that all the characters speak to each other in their own language, which consists of a bunch of squeaking sounds, while the narrator translates for the player. And because of that, the characters all seem exactly the same, with no distinctive traits or special characteristics that sets them apart from each other. The only one who really sticks out is the main character Reggie, but that's only because he's a new king with the responsibility of rebuilding his late father's kingdom. But that's about as far as personality goes. But I feel as though if the characters spoke coherently without the narrator's assistance, it would flesh them out, giving more depth and personality to these interactions. For example, early on in the game, when the frogs attack Reggie's home, he has to rescue his big brothers, the chef and the blacksmith, who are both beaten and taken captive. With his father killed during the raid, Reggie is determined to save what family he has left. That should be emotional and heart-wrenching, painful, especially when you find them all battered and bruised up. But it falls flat because there's no banter or special dialogue between Reggie and his loved ones. It feels like I'm just rescuing some random villager who happened to be captured, which I do throughout the game, so it's really no different from any other person I'd be saving. And I knew the premise was about your character becoming king and protecting your kingdom, But when I learned that you had siblings as well, I became a whole lot more engaged in the concept. Because I've got my family to back me up during this whole adventure. And as a middle kid in real life, I've always felt responsible to support my younger brother and older sister in everything they do. So I was low-key expecting the same vibes from this game. So when I see that in video games, I fall in love with the potential character development and emotional impact it has on the story. Sadly, that potential is lost here, and that's a bit disappointing. Now, I understand why game devs create silent protagonists. It's for the sole purpose of being an extension to the player. Want some examples? Just look at how Nintendo handles their characters. Mario, Link, Samus Aran, Ness from Earthbound, all protagonists who are known for their courage, but with the personality of cardboard. But if they want you to be engaged in their game, then a walking blank slate with no reaction or connection to the world around them isn't the way to go. In this day and age, where video games are becoming more and more like movies, silent protagonists undermine interesting story elements. It doesn't keep games from selling, but it's always a nitpick with me and I can't help it. Oh, and speaking of becoming king, so you spend your time rebuilding your fragile kingdom while fighting off the frog invasion. You complete side quests or earn gold as funds for your kingdom. Earn enough and the next main quest opens up, making this story progression mission based. Now personally, I don't like this gameplay style because it feels like it slows down story progression, especially if you're a story driven player. I mean, it makes sense a bit given the whole concept. You want to rebuild a civilization. Money is what gets the ball rolling, resources, building materials, contractors, increasing your defenses, chefs, cooks, mediators, all that. Musicians, we need all that. Your money is what keeps everything going. So you can't get anything done for free, even as a king. But as a king, what I want to know is, why am I the only one who's doing everything? I have a whole kingdom of rats under my rule. So why can't I delegate them to carry out these missions to earn money for their lands? I thought we was all in this as a team. What's going on? I mean, occasionally I might have a partner for certain missions, and they do help. They do pull their weight. But most of the time, it's just me all alone, risking my life for a bunch of ingrates who can't be bothered to help. Really? And I know they're more than capable of doing something because they fought off an entire invasion at the start of the game. So why are they so useless all of a sudden? I mean, at the end of the day, the king serves the people he's sworn to protect. Yeah, that's fine and dandy and all, but come on guys, you can't help me out a bit? I just got this job. This does not motivate me to want to help these people. Not in the least bit when I'm going off risking my life to protect them. But besides that, one of the things that I really liked about the game was that it didn't overstay its welcome. The game isn't that long, beatable in just under 10 hours. And I was surprised at how short the game was. But, in hindsight, I think that was a perfect length, especially for how difficult the game can get. Earlier on, I compared this game to Dark Souls for its difficulty and methodical approach to combat. And really, I enjoyed Dark Souls a lot. But for how difficult it was, the lack of a narrative, and those long, grinding sessions for souls to level up, it felt as though it dragged on way too long. And really, I'd rather play a game that's too short than have it too long. But at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. But overall, the game is a pretty fun experience, with an excellent storybook art style, interesting story, and a very talented narrator. The combat itself is slow, but meaningful and encourages you to choose your attacks very carefully. The biggest issues with this game are the mission-based story progression, and that's only because it feels like it slows down the pacing way too much. The second part is the little to no interaction between the protagonists and the NPCs. No memorable moments, no special interactions, no good characterizations, no nothing. Everyone seems exactly the same. And the worst of it all is getting little to no help trying to save a kingdom from a frog invasion that's out to kill us. Like, I understand that I'm the king, but at the same time, I can't do this by myself. I'm not Superman. I need help. Those are really the only issues that I really have with the game. But you know, at the end of the day, I'll still give Tales of Iron an 8 out of 10. Now, I don't know if this is a one and done from OddBug Studios, but if they do release a sequel, I'll be more than happy to play and review it for you guys. Now this part is kind of off script, so forgive me if it's a bit of stuttering. But you know, 12 subscribers on YouTube isn't a lot, but you know, it's a lot to me. And I just want to say I really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. And I know I don't have a really specific schedule of when I upload, and it seems like I just upload whenever I feel like it. That's not the case. It's just I only upload when I know I have time. But anyway, I just want to thank you guys so much for being here with me, and you know, just sharing these experiences with me, because I really do enjoy making videos and sharing with you guys. It means a lot. But yeah, again, I thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. It's getting cold, so please stay warm. Get vaccinated if you can. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.